What's up, everyone? I wanted to talk about that recent shooting in Arizona. For all of you guys out of country and may not have heard about it, there was a guy who went to a political event in Arizona. It's a state in the United States of America, and he shot some 20 people, I think, and 14 were injured pretty bad, and 6 of them actually ended up dying. Anyways, a lot of talk has been about what should be done. People talking about gun control. I guess the guy had mental health issues and he bought a gun legally. So there's questions of um, what process people should have to go through to get a gun. Because if you have mental problems, if you're documented to have mental problems, you're not supposed to have a gun. Somehow he did. So either those weren't documented or he slipped through the cracks. Something happened. So people started talking about gun laws, what should be done to prevent stuff like that. And I wanted to talk about the manufacture of guns in particular. People don't realize that no matter how much gun control you have, these guns are still being produced by these companies, mass produced by these huge corporations. And as long as that happens, people are going to get a hold of them. Uh, People who are crazy, regular people, military, whatever it is, long as these guns are being manufactured, people are gonna get them. That's just how it is. Eventually, they're gonna get into hands of people who want to kill other people, people who want to, you know, store weapons so they can go to war with other countries, so on and so forth. And people are gonna get killed with these weapons. That's how it is, and nobody seems to discuss that. It's always about gun control. People always talk about gun control as far as the citizen. Oh well, should people be able to buy a gun? Who should be able to buy a gun, what states, this and that. But nobody ever discussed the root of the problem. And that's the people who actually manufacture these guns in great numbers. I mean, I can't even imagine how many guns they create on a daily basis. It's just unbelievable. And that's the root of the problem. That's the huge root of the problem. These guns are just continue to be manufactured, and people are going to get a hold of them. As humans as a whole, until we come to that point to where across the world, humans as a whole, to stop manufacturing these weapons, until that time, stuff like this is going to happen. It doesn't just happen in the United States, doesn't just happen in China, Mexico. It happens all over the world. You know, people get guns and they kill people. That's just what happens. The military has guns and they go to the country. And oh yeah, it's just not guns; it's other weapons too, nuclear weapons. What's the point of having this? And with all this technology we have, what is the reason? Why do we need these guns? Ask yourself, why do we really need these guns as humans as a whole? If we could all come together and say, no, we don't need these anymore. Stop producing these weapons. Stop producing these handguns, these rifles, these fighter jets, these nuclear weapons, all this stuff. We should be not worrying, but we should be striving to further our technology, to go to other planets, stuff like that. I mean, I can't even imagine how much better human society as a whole could do if we weren't so focused on wars and with killing each other. And like I said, why do you need these guns? Seriously, ask yourself, why do you need these guns? People are like, oh well, say for hunting or for other sport like target practice and this and that. You don't need that. You know what I mean? By you wanting a gun for hunting or something like that, you're like, well, I'm not killing other humans and this and that. Yeah, but it's supply and demand. And if there's that demand from people, say, who hunt and other stuff like that, then the manufacturers who make these guns, they're not making them just for people who hunt. They're like, okay, there's a demand for guns, so we're going to make guns. Okay, now what a person wants a gun for, they can't go through every single person like, okay, well, you want it for hunting, you want it for this. When you go to buy a gun, they don't ask you for that. Well, what are you going to use the gun for? I mean, you could lie anyways. The point is, if there's demand for guns, these companies are going to make guns. So as long as you keep making some excuse to have it, oh, I want a gun for target practice, for this, for wars, for whatever it is, these huge companies, they're going to keep making these guns. They're going to keep making billions of dollars off this, and it's the same cycle. And nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to change. And it's crazy. And all the technology we have, we're still having the same problems we did, 50, 100 years ago maybe, Crazy person gets a hold of a gun and they start going around shooting people. It's nothing changed. And look at the technology, how much has changed in the last 50 years. And we can't prevent stuff like this. It's because like I said, if people are going to make these guns, people are going to have these guns. That's how it is. We need to get to the root of the problem. Like they say, nip it in the bud. If and it all starts with you. You know, people always say, well, you know, people over here, they don't want to change this and that. Well, it all starts with you. It all starts with one person. You have to make the change. Be like, no, if there's not that demand, then they're not going to keep making a supply. You have to say, no, I don't want a gun. I don't need a gun, you know. And the more people that do that, the less they make these guns. So as a whole, as a society, whatever country you're from watching this, you have to take a stand and say, we don't need these things anymore. We have so much technology. We don't need weapons. We used to use weapons to, you know, kill predators and to get food and stuff. We don't need that anymore. We don't. It's ridiculous. We don't need that. So it all starts with you. Tell people, so why do you need that gun? If your friend's going to get a gun, why do you need that gun? You don't need that. We're an extremely evolved species. That's just above caveman. It's ridiculous. You don't need weapons anymore. You really don't. I don't know. Just think about it.